We have what we call the Cartesian plane. And the Cartesian plane basically has so many labels. So today we are going to look at the labels. We have what we call the x-axis, which is actually the horizontal line you draw, okay? And then we have what we call the y-axis, which is the vertical line you draw. Now, in a special instrument called compass, the compass does not use x-axis, y-axis, but it uses whether you are facing the north, the south, the east, or the west. Okay, so we are going to look at which one or which part of the Cartesian plane is the north, which part is the south, which part is the east, and which part is the north. The north is the upward side. So you can see the positive side of the y-axis is the north. The south is the negative side of the y-axis. The east is the positive side of the x-axis. And then the west is the negative side of what? The x-axis. Now, the Cartesian plane is also divided into 4 parts, which are called quadrants. So we're going to look at which one is first quadrant, second quadrant, third quadrant, and then there's no fifth quadrant, it's just 4. Third quadrant and fourth quadrant, okay? So it is done, the labeling of the quadrants is done in a clockwise manner. It means we are going to move in the direction the way the clock moves. So if you have a wall clock, okay, not the digital clock, but the analog clock with arms, the seconds hand, the minutes hand, and all that, it moves in a certain direction, okay? That direction is called clockwise direction or clockwise rotation or whatever. The labeling of the quadrants also moves in that direction. So to know the first quadrant, you start from the north. So from the north, the first quadrant in a clockwise direction is actually the first division, which is 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the first quadrant. Then when we move to the next 90 degrees, we are in our second quadrant. So this will give us 180 degrees. Then when we move to the third, whilst we are moving in a clockwise direction, okay? When we move to the third quadrant, we also make another 90 degrees, which will add up to the 180 degrees to give us 270 degrees, okay? So this is our third quadrant, okay? Then we'll move to the fourth quadrant, and that gives us what? 360 degrees. So the motion, once the motion is completed, you get a full circle rotation, okay? Which will be, that's why they say, oh, when you go round and you come back to meet the point you started from, you've actually made a circular turn, and that is what 360 degrees angle, okay? It's 90 plus 90 plus 90 plus 90, giving you 360. So every circle can actually be divided into 4 parts, where each part will be 90 degrees in order to obtain that what 60 degrees, even though circles can be divided into so many parts. Okay, so basically that is it about what quadrant. As I said, we have what 4 divisions. We have the first, the second, and the third, and they are called what quadrants. The quadrants are labeled in a clockwise manner. We have the north, south, east, and west. And I said the north is actually the positive part of the y-axis. The south is the negative part of the y-axis. The east is the positive part of what? The x-axis. The west is the negative part of the x-axis. The west is the positive part of the what? The negative part of the x-axis. Okay, so that is for quadrant. Now, this quadrant is what is going to help us answer most of our bearing questions. Okay, so when you are given a bearing, and then when you are given a bearing, okay, and then they see that the bearing, the angle in the bearing is maybe 281. Where will 281 fall? You know that from here is 90. This side is what? 180. Let me change the color of the marker. This side is what? 270. So definitely 281 degrees will fall here. Okay? It is not drawn to scale, but you should know that 281 will be here. Okay? So that brings us to our next question, which is what? Under bearing. We are going to take a question that requires us to do or draw a diagram which represents a bearing of what? 281. Okay, so I'm going to move to a new board and then we are going to take that question. Okay, so moving to a new board, let's take the question. They said that if sorry about that. I don't know, this thing just decided to. Oh, okay. Let me quickly make a new, how do you call it? A new, this thing, my thing has ended. So let me just duplicate. Oh, no, that's the wrong thing to do now. So I'm just duplicating. Okay, so let me know if you can see. Let me know if you can see. Just raise up your hand if you can see. A black screen with a yellow logo. Okay, okay, thank you. Because the slide ended, so I had to create a new one. So we are going to take a question. Fantastic, thank you very much. We're going to take a question. Oh, what is this? Okay. So we're going to take a question, and the question says that what? If the bearing of P from Q is 281 degrees, comma, what is the bearing of Q from P? So now it is up to us to understand whatever they are saying. And I'm just going to go through that process to help you understand it. When they say a bearing of P, it means that the turn you make in order to get to P. But where are you supposed to make the turn? From Q. So you have to make the turn from Q. Is what? 281 degrees. So this 281 degrees turn was made from what? Q in order to get to what? P. So the first thing you need to draw is to draw your Cartesian plane, which will be representing the point Q. So you draw your Cartesian plane, you indicate your north, and then this will be representing what? The point Q. Now the point Q, the angle that was made was what? 281 degrees, okay? Now we know that this is a 90 degrees, this will be 180, this will be 270, so 281 will be somewhere here. So it's not drawn to scale, so you can even target half of it or something, and then you draw a line. That line is what is going to give you what? P. Okay, so the P should have its Cartesian plane. Okay, so P, we have the north here. Okay, so once we have that, we have actually done the drawing. And we have to just indicate the angular turn. So this is the angular turn. And this whole turn is actually equal to 281 degrees. So we've done the first part of the question, which is what if the bearing of P from Q is 275? So that's what you've drawn. Now the next thing says that what is the bearing of Q? So what is the bearing of Q from P? So it means what? We want to know the bearing of Q from what? P. What it means is that when we stand at P, what angular turn are we supposed to make in order to fall on this line? The line moving to Q. So remember, bearings are always in reference to the north. So from the north, what angular turn at P, what angular turn are we going to make in order to hit the line that moves to Q? So it is just trying to find out this whole angle, what turn are we supposed to make with this whole angle? Now, when we look at it closely, this line, the first time was moving from P to Q, okay? So it means that we can actually extend it. Okay, so we will extend it. When we extend it, we are following the rule that I've talked about severally. And that rule is what? Found in under the topic plane geometry. Okay, plane geometry. And I have videos on plane geometry explaining these topics on YouTube. You can check them out. So plane geometry, it basically means I have this and I have this angle. These two angles are imitating each other, so they are equal. I have this angle and I have this angle. These two angles are imitating each other, so they are equal. So when we look at it closely, we'll have a set or a pair of those angles. This angle, okay, and then this angle. Let me just draw this bigger. This angle are corresponding, okay? So it means that this angle and this angle will be the same. Now we know that from this side all the way to this side is what? 281 degrees. And we know that if we take that and we look at this side, this is what? 180 degrees because it forms a semicircle. So the red part is what? 180 degrees. So if the red part is 180 degrees, the red part is this semicircle, okay? So if the red part is 180 degrees, okay, what are we going to do? What operation are we going to do in order to get this blue part? Because once we get this blue part, it will help us get this angle. It basically means that if the whole thing, with the whole blue thing up to the line is 280, and then the red semicircle is 180, we just have to subtract the red semicircle from the whole thing, which is 281 minus what? 180 degrees. And that obviously is going to give us 101. Okay, that is going to give us 101. So it means that this angle is 101 degrees, and that means this angle is also going to be 101 degrees. So we can state that the bearing of Q from P is what? 101 degrees. What it means is that when we are at P and we want to go to Q, we need to make a turn of 101 degrees from the north in order to get to the line that will take us towards Q. Okay? If you have any questions, you can ask. Okay. So I've read a message that was sent, well noted. A message that was sent by Oyi. I've read it. Okay, well noted. So that is it. That is, so it depends. So you just have to actually know where the angle that has been given to you is. You also have to know where you're supposed, which one is going to be the first thing you're going to be drawing. Once you hear of A, of Q, of R, that is the first thing you're supposed to draw. And the angle that is given to you, you are supposed to draw it there. Now you have to know which quadrant that angle will fall in. And I've given you the quadrant because I've actually explained what the quadrant is. We have 90, we have 180, we have 270, and we have 360. So if you get something like maybe 290, you should know 290 will fall in the fourth quadrant because the third quadrant ends at 270. Are we okay? So basically that is it. Okay, so I have some questions here. Okay, so yes, that's fine. Okay, so someone is asking that why is it that the 281 is not in the third quadrant? So if you should go back to, I think I've deleted that. So let me just draw the Cartesian plane quickly. Okay, this is a Cartesian plane. This place is 90 degrees. This place is 180 degrees. This place is 270 degrees. It means that once you get to this line, 270 ends. The next line is 360. Okay, so it's the next line from this side to this side. The count will start from 271, 272, up to 360 degrees. Okay, so if the thing is 181, it will not be in the third quadrant because the third quadrant, the last count is what? 270. Okay, so it means that from here it is what? 181, 182. Okay, it means that this place is what? 180, which is the last one. This one too, it means that from what? The second quadrant, you start counting 191, 91, 92, 93. Okay, it means that this one is from what? 1, 2, and it ends at what? 90. So 281 will fall in the fourth quadrant, but not the third quadrant, because the third quadrant, the last number that can be in the third quadrant is what? 270. And 281 is more than 270. But when the count that starts in the fourth quadrant is what? 271, 272, up to what? 360 degrees. I hope I've answered that question. Fantastic. So let's take one more question, and then we would have to call it a day, because I'm sending an exercise and you're supposed to submit the exercise by 6 p.m. today so that I can mark. Please let's all ensure that. Okay, please ensure that you submit the exercise by 6. Okay, so let's take the last question and then we'll move